and you should be moving on the next slide, which is this slide, to our source analysis on the Atlanta Exposition Address by Booker T. So you should be in this spot in your notes, and we're going to be here. And so as you start to take notes right now, your job is to listen to me walk through this excerpt from the Atlanta Exposition Address. And your job is to answer, what is his main message to African Americans? So as Booker T gives this address, what is his main message to African Americans? And then in the very last paragraph here, down in this section, what is his main message to white people? It's going to be kind of subtle. So I'm going to do this, let you take a moment and write those things down. So feel free to listen and write at the same time. So in Atlanta in 1895, Booker T. Washington gives a speech. In that speech, this is the cast your bucket down speech. He writes in his speech, and then he gives it out loud in Atlanta. Cast down your bucket where you are. Cast it down in making friends in every manly way of the people of all races by whom we are surrounded. Decent message. Cast it down in agriculture. And when he's using the word cast it down, he's basically bloom where you're planted. Put your bucket down and get to work. Right? That's what he means by cast it down. Cast it down in agriculture, mechanics, in commerce, in domestic service, and in the professions. And in this connection, it is well to bear in mind that whatever other sins the South may be called to bear, when it comes to business, pure and simple, it is in the South that the Negro is given a man's chance in the commercial world. And in nothing in this exposition more eloquent than in emphasizing this chance. Interesting. He's kind of, and this is why he gets criticized a little bit. Whatever other sins, I mean, we know there are plenty, right? We went over this last Friday with lynchings and other things that were happening, segregation in the South. And so he's like, hey, whatever's happening, you still have a better chance in the South than you do anywhere else. And again, this is where he gets criticized. Our greatest danger is that in the great leap from slavery to freedom, we may overlook the fact that the masses of us are to live by the production of our hands, and fail to keep in mind that we shall prosper in proportions that we learn to dignify and glorify common labor and put brains and skill into the common occupations of life. We shall prosper in proportion as we learn to draw the line between the superficial and the substantial, the ornamental gewgaws of life and the useful. No race can prosper till it learns that there is much dignity in tilling a field as there is in writing a poem. It is at the bottom of life that we must begin. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Drake, whatever. And not the top. Nor should we permit our grievances to overshadow our opportunities. Whew, that's a lot right there. Right, he is directly kind of criticizing, put away poetry, put away art, put away all of those things, because those things aren't going to make you money. They're not going to be useful in the long run. Whew. Nor should we permit our grievances to overshadow our opportunities. Yikes. Again, so what's he saying to African Americans here that they should do with their opportunities in the South? Again, go ahead if you are, for our guest teacher, if you can just pause right here, allow students to write. If you want to talk about it for a real quick second, feel free to do that. Give you opportunity to pause. Now, at the bottom, he starts talking to white people. To those of the white race who look to the incoming of those of foreign birth and strange tongue and habits for the prosperity of their South, as we have proved our loyalty to you in the past in nursing your children, watching by the sickbed of your mothers and fathers, and often following them with tear-dimmed eyes to their graves, so in the future, in our humble way, we shall stand by you with a devotion that no foreigner can approach, ready to lay down our lives, if need be, in defense of yours, interlacing our industrial, commercial, civil, and religious life with yours in a way that shall make the interest of both races one. In all things that are purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers, yet as one as the hand in all things essential to mutual progress. Oh, so what is he really asking of white people here to do? And I'll come back on Friday. If you don't get it right away today, I understand, but he's saying something very specific to white people, but also to African Americans as well, right here. So again, feel free to pause and have students answer both of those in their notes if they haven't already. All right. I'll make sure that when I come back on Friday, I'm going over that in class to make sure that we all understand kind of what is going on with Booker T. But do your best to get that down in your packet. Now, both of these videos are going to be on the next two slides. So after you are done writing down these notes, and as I am done talking about it with this video, I'd like our guest teacher to just move to the next slide. You're going to see a video on how the Green Book helped black motorists to travel safely. That's part of the institution of the African American press, and then a quick video on Robert Abbott, who was the leader of the Chicago Defender, one of the premier black newspapers in all of the United States. So we're going to get to black institutions and organizations now. So how do these organizations find their way into helping African Americans in whatever situation they find themselves in? And the first group of people that we're going to look at here are the African American press. These are newspapers that spring up all over the country. During slavery, we had newspapers that spring up as anti-slavery newspapers. Most of these are owned and run and operated by white people with voices given to black anti-slavery or abolitionists in the process. There are very few of those that are actually owned by African Americans. There are a few, but not a ton. Once the 1900s rolls around and African Americans start to own more businesses, one of the things that they jump right into, as you'll see here in the video with the Chicago Defender, is jumping into owning and running newspapers in order to get the word out about the African American community. Right? These things are promoting civil rights. They're promoting new ideas. They're promoting new black businesses. They are finding a way to advertise, right? Black businesses can then advertise in these newspapers. The big one is the Chicago Defender that gets started in 1905. It's a huge, huge newspaper and is still around in digital form. But it played a huge role in the Great Migration, which we'll learn about after the Harlem Renaissance, but the movement of African Americans from the South into northern cities like Chicago, Detroit. We already talked about that with one of our crash courses last week, and the movement into those cities. The Baltimore Afro-American newspaper that started in 1892, right? It was publishing travel guides, among other things that these newspapers did. One of the things that this one in particular was noted for is its travel guides, like the Green Book. There's a movie that came out a few years ago with Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen called The Green Book. If you haven't seen it, it's really a good movie, excellent movie, and kind of shows the way in which Green Books helped black motorists as they travel across the United States find places that are friendly to African American travelers and stay away from places that would have discriminated against African Americans. And then lastly, we've heard of already with Ida B. Wells and with our lynching notes that we had the other day, but the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, their magazine called The Crisis that comes out and opens up in 1910. It is a huge magazine in coming to point out some of the violations that are happening in civil rights all over the country. Most notably, they are the magazine that does the most when it comes to publishing anti-lynching articles, anti-lynching information to try to really highlight the way in which African Americans are being treated poorly by the rest of the country. And so this first group, the African American press, super important in getting the word out, making sure that African American people are being heard and seen, and pushing for those at the African American community's rights. And what I'd like is for you, the guest teacher, to move on to the next slide. You're going to have a quick piece of information about the Green Book. Students, feel free to take notes on anything that you see in the video about the Green Book, and then a quick 1-minute video on the very next slide about the Chicago Defender. So there you go. And once this video stops, you can move on to the next screen.